So Cinema 4D has just released its latest edition, 2023.2, which now features an improved cloth simulation system, and particularly the balloon. Right, so we've now got a map included in the balloon area, which allows us to control how inflation happens on objects. You know, rather than it just inflate, or we have to use mix animation and target length and try to get to it that way, we can actually now inflate a balloon object, very much like blowing up a real balloon. So you've got this kind of look going on where we can start off like that, and then we can pump air into them, and you get these really nice effects that we couldn't quite get with using it with the other tags and other parts of the system. So let's just show you how you do this now, this setup in with the new tag and the new map. Right, so let's go for a capsule. Let's make it nice and thin. Let's turn on the ground shading with lines. Let's make this a bit taller. Let's add some more height segments. Let's lift that up there, and let's put in a plane because we want to attach this to the floor. Let's add a few more segments to the plane, and then let's take the capsule, and then we're just going to be just hovering it above the floor. Let's add a few more. Let's clone them. So Alt, clone. Let's bring this down to say 20 and 20, just so they're kind of gathered together there. Now what we need to do is put some simulation tags on. So on the plane, we're going to right click and add cloth, but we need to turn on mix animation with pins to make sure this pins down and doesn't move. And then on the cloner, we are going to right click simulation balloon, and we also want to go right click simulation and connector. Okay, so if we go on connector and click on update live, and then we just want to increase the search radius and the max connections. Okay, so what that will do is just anchor. Let's just go a few more here and see if we can. That's better. Okay, so we've just got this nice anchored area on the bottom of these, so they don't drift around when the when the forces and things have been added onto this. Right, so that's the first step. What we can do now is just add a little bit of turbulence into the scene. Not a lot, so like 20 and 12 or something, just so these will now the reason they're dropping down is obviously we've still got the full gravity on, so we need to go Control D, project settings, gravity, look where it's minus 981, we want to go plus 20, so just 20, so it will start to rise up rather than drop down. Okay, so now we've got this nice system of these kind of tubes waiting to have air blown into them. Let's add say 200 frames, so we've got a little bit more to play with here. Right, so how do we get air to be blown into these tubes? Right, so we go on to cloner, and I'm just trying to think where we put this. Maybe it's best to put it on the capsule. Yeah, right click on capsule, and we want to add a vertex map. Okay, now we turn off cloner, and then the map goes red. Right, then what we want to do now is, with the vertex map selected under fields, we want to add a spherical field like that. Let's make it a bit smaller, we don't need it to be as big, and then we drop it down to the bottom, and then we come off there, and then we do a keyframe there. And then if we just go forward, say about 30 frames, because what I don't want is this to inflate immediately. I want it to stay, like they're not inflated, and then after say a second, it then moves and starts to inflate them. So we add a keyframe there, we come forward 10 frames or something like that, and then we move this over so the yellow then touches, and that means it will activate it at this point. So it'll come across and then activate. So now if we turn the cloner back on, and then press play. Now the reason they're drifting off now is any changes that get made here, we need to go back to the connections, and as you can see, the connections have gone a bit strange. They haven't connected very well. To correct that, all you need to do is go on to the search radius or the max connections and just move the numbers around a bit. Okay, it just kind of resets the system and they all join back up. All right, let's give that another go. Rewind, press play, and then they move in. So let's click on Vertex Map, and we should, if we probably need to turn off, yeah, you can actually see here that it's touched. But what we want it to do is, if we go back to Vertex Map and go to fields here, what we want to do is we want it to touch it, but then we want it to grow and the yellow to go across the whole shape. So what we do is we go to clamp here, under clamp, and then we go to freeze, and we add in a freeze. And let's put that underneath spherical field, and let's turn spherical field to max. Okay, just to make sure it gets used. Click on freeze, click on mode and change it to grow. And then the radius, we just want to play around with these a bit to see what's going to work the best. We don't want it to go super quick. Let's go 5 and 50 and see what happens there. So let's just see what we get now. Okay, so now we've got this effect of it growing and kind of blowing air until it gets to the top. So if we now go onto our balloon tag, where we've got this map area, we can now drop in this vertex map. Okay, and we can put an overpressure in there of, say, 4, we'll try 4, and we can expand that, say, over 90 frames, like 3 seconds. Let's see what we get now. Okay, let's turn on the cloner. Okay. I've got a little bit of a issue down there. I think it's probably where they just kind of, but straight out of the gate with not too many changes, we are getting some inflation. We just need to have a look at maybe seeing if we can make this a bit smoother. Let's just see what's happening. Okay, so it's inflating at that point. I think what we need to do, let's put the cloner into a connect object. Okay, and then we can put, I believe we can put the connections and the tag onto the connect object. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, so they're not actually connected now. Let's just check. Did I put, yeah, it's exactly what I've just done on here. I've put them on those particular areas. So there's no reason why that shouldn't update. Ah, okay, it has. Yeah, I don't know why it just didn't show. There we go. So let's just try that again. Let's actually have the red. I want to see the red actually activated, but it's not giving me that. I think the cloner has to be turned off for you to see the vertex map and the connect object. Yeah, it does. Okay, let's turn them back on. Let's just see what happens as these touch the bottom now. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, that's working good. That is absolutely working fine. That's really good. But the only thing is, we want colour. Now, if you look on this original one that I've got here, you'll see that we've got a colour change. We've got a light pink and a dark pink. The reason I've got this is when the balloon inflates, it gets thinner, the material gets thinner, so the colour will look lighter, wouldn't it, because it's been stretched more. So that's what we're trying to achieve here, where we've got this nice colour. And we run that with another vertex map, but this time we use a vertex colour. So if you go to capsule, right click, go to other, and now we go to vertex colour. And then we click on fields, and we're going to run this with the original vertex map. Okay, so that growth effect, where it starts off red and it's got the yellow and it grows up, we want that effect, but in colour. So what we do is we drop the vertex tag, the vertex map, into the vertex colour tag just here. So it's going to use this as reference. Okay, we click on it, and then on here where it says nearest, we go to index. We want it to be exactly matching the growth of that first one, okay, with colour, because we want it to be exactly like I'll show you here, exactly where that is coming up. We want the colour to be there, and then where it's not activated, it's the other colour, right? So that's what we're trying to achieve here with this. So we're on the map, we've got it indexed. We now need to influence an actual colour change on here now. So what we do, we go to remapping, and then we activate or enable remapping. That then gives us a colour remap tag option here. Click on that, go to colour mode and change it to gradient. Okay, so now we can decide what two colours are going to be used here, right? So let's do a blue, like a blue balloon this time, shall we? Right, so the first one is we want to put in, say, a blue, and then the end reference here we want to put in like a lighter blue. Okay, so that is the reference here. So if we turn these two off, that you'll see that we've got a lighter blue at the bottom, and the lighter blue grows up. Now maybe it's the contrast is too much, so let's go up like that. You know, it wants to change, but it doesn't want to look like they're two different items. One wants to look like a stretched version of the original colour. So that's the effect we're after, the growing of these two colours. But if we try and render that now, look, it will not show any of this colour. The reason for that is we need to create a material, so a new material, and then on texture here, click on that, and then we go to effects, and then we go down to vertex map. Click on vertex map, and then we drop in the vertex color tag into there. Okay, and then we put this material onto the capsule like that, and then suddenly it goes blue. Okay, with this tone area at the bottom. So now if we rewind and play, it will grow and we will be able to render that. So now let's turn on the connect and the cloner, and let's see what effect we've now got. So we wait a second, and then it moves over, it inflates, and as you can see, if you can see here, let's turn off ground shading with lines. You can see this color now. If we render that, look, this color is now being influenced as it goes up the map. Okay, so let's just run that until it goes to the top. So you've got this stretched color now. So you've got the kind of darker blue, which is unstretched, and then you've got this like stretched version as it's going up. Okay, so if you just put lighting in this scene, maybe you want to add a bit of reflection to this. So we go to reflect, and let's just go to something like a Beckman and add a bit of reflection in there. Look, so you get this really nice balloon kind of look to it. And then you can just add some light, you know, something like, I don't know, a physical sky or something like this. Yeah, just turn it round so you can see some light on these. Just do a quick render, see what it looks like. You see, and now we've got this kind of light blue. It might be too much reflection actually, and then you've got the darker blue here. Okay, so let's just turn those down. Actually, while I'm here, let's just turn those down and see what we've got. Get a nicer render on there. Okay, so you see the idea. You've got a really nice way of controlling inflation using a vertex map and the vertex color to give you a color change on the balloon. So it's really good for balloons, much improved over the previous system. So that's it. That's all I want to do. If you want to grab this file for any reason, you don't want to create this yourself and you just want to just have it, it is available below to grab this scene from Gumroad for a very small fee. I think it's only like $1 or something. So yeah, have a play, have a think of what items, you know, like lilos and different things like that you could inflate. And I'll actually do an update to this video where I will show you what the stretch influence will do. Okay, it's not going to be in this one, but there'll be another little scene I'll set up and I'll show you exactly what that does. My name is Mike German from Visual Animation. Take care. Goodbye for now.